Hello, 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 hello. Hope everyone is doing well today. I'm glad that you're with me. Today we're doing again in Pastor's Chair. And today I have with me Bishop Herman Thomas Jr. from Albany, New York. We are so excited to have him finally. It's been a long time coming, but it did come. And we're so happy that he will be with us right after this.
Listen.
Here we go. Hello, hello again. Hope everyone is doing well. Hope everyone is excited on this Saturday, April 20th, 24. God is an awesome God, always worthy to be praised. Today, good morning, hello, Sister Laretha. Today, I'm so excited to have my own Bishop Herman Thomas Jr. on the platform. How you doing today, Bishop?
I'm doing good. I'm doing great. Doing great.
Bishop is my husband, if you didn't know. And it's so hard to interview because I'm so personal with him. And so finally I was like, we got to stop, fiddling around and just get it done, right? And so today is a special day. I always like to hear our pastors' viewpoint and ideas, and definitely our men viewpoints and ideas and thoughts about the church and where it's going. I consider this, and I say this is Soul Sisters platform, but by no means do I exempt men from watching, sharing, and participating. Amen. Because we're together in unity in Christ. And so I'm so happy that I have my husband on here today. Amen. To give us some downloads of what he's learned throughout his time in ministry and in life. Amen. And I'm sure it was going to be a great session on today. Good morning. Hello. I keep saying good morning. Hello, Sister Odessa, Sister Laretha. How you doing? And so, Pastor Thomas.
What's good? What's going on, Lady Grace? What's going on?
Yeah, from Sports Chat. Yeah, from Sports Chat. So, give us a little bit about yourself. Tell us who's Pastor Thomas. Who's Pastor Herman Thomas?
Well, first I want to say thank you for finally having. Hey, where's the rest of the crew? I'm not good enough for the rest of the crew. What's up?
You gotta turn your volume up.
Huh?
Your volume is low.
I don't know why. Is
Okay, now you went black. Maybe I'm gonna have to go down there and help him out.
Wow.
You ready?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I hear you great now. I hear you great. Hello, Sister Tanisha. Sister Laretha say Lakers at 8:30, so we gotta hurry up.
Nah, they ain't gonna beat the Denver Nuggets anyway. We ain't got time.
They're not gonna beat them?
No.
Oh, sorry to hear that. Okay, so you're telling me about Pastor Herman. What was you getting ready to say?
No, I'll just say that I'm glad to finally be on the show. It took a long time. Where's everybody else at? Nobody else wanted to interview me.
They wanted me to be one-on-one with you today. They felt that I could do it by myself.
They selling me out. No, I've been pastoring now since 2005. So it'd be 19 years in December. This coming December it'd be 19 years as being the nowadays they say the senior pastor. I was associate minister here in Albany under Bishop Ruby Day. I would say, doing ministry work far as, like preaching Sunday morning, teaching, since the early 90s. So, and I've been preaching now, going on 35 years.
Mm-hmm.
So a long time,
Definitely,
long time.
definitely,
Yeah.
definitely long time in the vineyard. So preaching for 35 years. Let's go back a little. So when were you called? When did you know you were called to ministry? What was it like?
I was in college at the time. I was going to Michigan State. I was in my junior year uh in college, and I just felt the Lord was uh leading me to preach. I never had a desire to preach. I
No?
I I always no, I never desired to be a preacher. I was going to college. I wanted to I was majoring in communications. With an eye maybe on like sports journalism or media broadcasting, long no nature. So, um, but I always fell in somewhat like leadership roles. I was in quite a few programs uh, in high school, student government, youth opportunity program. I worked for Miss Janet Johnson. I became the president there. I won the outstanding leadership award the year that I was in the program, and so always kind of end up in a leadership type role. So when I was at college, I was doing well in school. I was a junior, and I just felt the Lord leading me to ministry. So I left school and I came home. And so in that time period of uh, denying it and not really going to it, I kind of fleeced the Lord. And I said to the Lord, I said, if you're really calling me to in ministry, I want to see a miracle. And so uh, my sister was getting married in Detroit, Michigan. And so the Saturday before we were leaving to go to Detroit, we drove down to Camden, New Jersey to pick up our cousin Marlo. And on the way back, we got into a major accident on the New York Thruway. Our car I fell asleep at the wheel. Um, because we was up all night talking and excited about it, and so not really sleeping. And we went off the road, hit the guardrail, spun back up on the road, went to the other side, and behind us were a line and 2-lane highway lined up. I mean, at least 15 to 20 vehicles. No other vehicle, no other accident, just our car, right? And so our father, we got a hold to our friend Andre, our brother Andre. He went and got my dad, and they both came to pick us up. When I get into the car, my father, who wasn't in the church at the time, he was listening to Clay Evans, pastor out of Chicago, uh, Illinois. Always had albums with his choir, and on the what he was listening to, the song was "For the Rest of My Life, I'm going to serve the Lord." And I heard a voice say to me, "This is your miracle." And so I could not deny what I witnessed. And then for that song to be on when we get in the car, from my father playing that, he could have played some of everything. And again, like I say, he wasn't in the church at the time, and he had that on in the car, so it was really kind of eerie.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
And the Lord spoke to me and said, "There's your miracle."
Wow, yeah. I guess we have to be careful how we fleece God.
I guess so. Yeah,
Don't
I
try
guess.
this at home.
Lady Grace, the amazing thing about that though is the fact that if your car goes off to one side of the road, spins and comes back to the other, and there's 20 other vehicles behind you, and nobody else,
Yeah, I
nobody
know, I know, I
at
know,
a
I
high
know.
rate of speed of the New York Thruway. I mean, that
Yeah,
alone.
yeah, yeah. Okay, so you're called to ministry. Did at this time did God give you any focus? Because there's several departments in ministry. So did He tell you to preach the word? Did you hear a clear calling, decisive, or what you're supposed to do, how you're supposed to do
Yeah,
it, when you're supposed to do it?
I, the call was ministry. I would say preaching, uh, and then I felt myself just being a good help. Because again, I wasn't trying to take no leadership role or be, no great evangelist or anything like that. And so I kind of just fell into what I kind of say like a mentorship uh, under my late pastor, Bishop Ruby Thay.
Mm-hmm,
And
mm-hmm.
so it's just amazing because uh, at the time of my growth in ministry is when Bishop Thay started having health issues.
Mm-hmm.
And so me being, and I was at that particular time. We've always had ministers at our church, but at that particular time, I was kind of like the only minister, for preaching and then teaching and everything. So, I kind of looked at that as being like, okay, Lord, this is how we're going.
Mm, mm, mm. So basically, you feel that's a good thought that you were kind of mentored, kind of really for the position, and maybe God, that's why God called you from college, because He seen
For
that
that
Bishop
time.
Day
Yes.
was going to need some help.
Well, and on top of that too, my brother uh, Ronald always told me too that uh, he knew I was gonna be a good leader too, because I came home at a pivotal time for him,
Mm-hmm.
because he was like in 11th grade, uh, and our parents were going through their marital issues at the time, and I came home he said I came out at a pivotal time for him to give him direction, uh, going forward, as far as being get an education. And and how I've always done with young people, and I've even heard you say how I pushed you forward, and I've always been that way, even as a as a teenager,
Mm-hmm.
always trying to press other people to go forward and encouraging them. So uh, he said that was a pivotal time as well. So I definitely believe it was the hand of the Lord
Mm-hmm.
working in that means as well. Yes.
Okay. And so Bishop Bethay, as a bishop in the faith, and our organizations and other organizations knew him really as a father of faith, and he was
Yeah.
a big man. He wasn't just tall, but he was a big
Right.
man and
Right.
very dynamic and very powerful.
Yes.
And so, and I've heard many times when you were, the mantle was really kind of passed down to you, the term of um, filling big shoes, because he was powerful and influential and had a strong ministry. He did, when people is like, when he spoke, people listened, like
Right.
everything
Right.
got
Right. Right.
quiet.
Right.
Bishop Bethay got up, everybody's just like, what is he
Right.
gonna
Right.
say,
Right. Right.
And
Right.
so with that,
It
with
was like with Bishop, like he was like speaking stuff at conventions or the conferences. It was like the saints were waiting with a great expectation to hear
yeah,
something.
yeah,
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 no, it's true. Very true.
yeah, yeah. So when did you get into your own? When did you feel like, because I know it had to be a transitional period. When did you get into a feeling that, I'm pastor, I'm comfortable being Herman. I don't have to meet an expectation, or if you ever came to an expectation of big shoes, bishop, but God this anointing was passed down to me for my purpose, or, for the purpose for God to work through me, and just feeling comfortable in your own shoes in the position.
Can I really be transparent tonight?
I hope so.
I would say the burden was lifted of that shadow. I always felt like a shadow over me, just because how Bishop would do things, his way of leadership. Because again, I was there helping him. So I wasn't trying to take over, and I wasn't trying to position myself to be next in line, and so I always went to church, going to serve. I didn't go there with a mindset, I'm preaching today, I got to do Bible class today. Yeah, I mean, you live with me. You never, I never went, oh, I'm teaching today, Grace. Come on, no. I went sometime 2 lakhs of days ago, bro. Because I knew I would be, but I didn't take it that I am him. You follow me? And so I never tell you a quick story. I remember one time, it's now the hospitality room. Well, it was an empty office at the time. You had a desk in there. So I was just in there, kind of like chilling out, and Bishop knocked on the door. So what you doing in there? I go, nothing. He go, well, why you ain't in there teaching Bible class? I was like, oh, okay. Because I never just took the mantle, I'm teaching class tonight. As long as Bishop was around, he was the pastor. So I felt he was supposed to be doing it. If he wanted me to do it, he would tell me. But then it got to a point where he was more like I should have been knowing that I was doing it, not him having to tell me.
Right. And you were doing it out of respect.
Sure. Oh yes. Oh, only because I don't want to be snatched down.
Okay, because he would snatch you down.
Oh, he would snatch you down.
Yeah, he will.
So I never wanted to suffer that, but I had a dream, and Bishop came to me in my dream, because I was really that shadow was heavy, and oftentimes people in their politically correct of how they speak to you in transition. Oh, you got big not I'm praying for you, elder, right? Or we're praying the Lord blesses you going forward. No, no, none of those type of no conversations. But always, oh, you got mighty big shoes to fill. I hope you don't mess it up. Kind of condescending, really. Not really encouraging.
Right.
And so I felt that, and I felt it because I was really concerned about it. I didn't want to mess it up. I really didn't. And too scared now, even too scared to mess it up. But in the dream, Bishop comes to me in the dream, and he says, Herman, he said, you're doing well, son. He says, I never got to tell you how much I really appreciate what you had done for me all those years. And he says, you can't wear my shoes. He says, I wear size 12. And the dream ended.
Wow, you can't wear my shoes. I wear size 12. Wow, so he was really, that was the passing of the baton
that
right
was
there.
The passing and the push forward.
Yeah. Do
and
you,
right. I didn't even get a chance to respond in the dream.
Right,
so in other words, to tell me you got to walk in yours.
Yeah. And no need for me to give you any more instruction, really, at this point.
Son, he thanked me. He thanked me in the dream. He said, all that you've done, he said, you'll never know how much. And then not too long after that, I was talking to my mother one day, and she told me, she said, Herman, she said, Bishop told me one time that Herman will never know how much I appreciate him. Right. Oh man, it was so So
Like
most,
really confirmation.
yeah, there was confirmation from that too. Yes.
Yeah, yeah.
So the same thing she told me, he said it in the dream.
Wow, wow. It's really like a Moses Joshua type of thing, right? Because
Yeah.
Moses, I couldn't imagine how Joshua felt,
Felt. Yeah.
like he passing me the mantle. I can't do what you do. I can't handle these people. I'm
Right.
I'm not
Right.
equipped. I'm not, and you
Correct.
just saying
Correct.
go for it,
But and in that, God tells him, I will be with you as I was with Moses. And
Right,
so
right,
by him telling me how he appreciated me, and you can't wear my shoes,
right,
man.
right.
And so
Really,
I went forward there, and one night in Bible class, it just came out of me, and I said, uh, Bishop Ite is no longer here. I think I said he's buried at Graceland, and he's not coming back.
hmm
And
hmm
and ever since that night, I've been comfortable in what I've been doing.
Good, 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 good. So what type of ministry, what type of pastor do you think you are? What or believe you are? You're not bishop. You're Herman. You're Pastor Herman. Who's Pastor Herman as a pastor? What is his vision and his vision and his purpose here?
Well, now there's one time I was believing that I was gonna be a link.
A link. Yeah, 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 yeah.
I think
Yeah.
I talked to your boss before about I was gonna be a link or bridge to get the brethren back together, right? But no, I don't think that's it at all.
Yeah. Not these brothers that we deal with.
But um, I have a love for God's people, all of God's people, all ages of God's people. The senior citizens, uh, the middle age, and then I've always loved the young people,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
uh, and so I have a love for all of those groups of people, and my endeavoring uh, is to do something great um, for this community, as well as wherever the Lord takes me to be a blessing to His people.
hmm 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 With that, as a pastor, and we affiliate with organizations and ministries, but it's really not kind of how it was in yesteryear, where your head organization really looked after the other organizations and their pastors and things like that, and accountability, because you see like crazy things that are happening in all denominational churches. People are doing crazy things, living any kind of life. How do you keep yourself accountable? What mechanisms do you have, to keep you accountable, as a pastor, as a ministry, and as a lifestyle that you're supposed to live for Christ?
Well, number one, uh, you have to have a fear of the Word of God itself. Uh, it's enough in that book uh, to keep you straight if you really believe what the book says. It holds you accountable, and just knowing that our life is supposed to be a witness for others. And so I never, Lakers, I never wanted to. One thing I had to get over in life is the fear of letting others down. Uh, you have to learn to walk in your space and live and do what you have to do, not so much to please others, but that part of not letting others down still weighs heavy on me.
Right, right. But still, even with that, sometimes pastors have bad days, bad years, bad months. What do you do in those times to keep going? Like your son just passed away, 2 years ago. That had to be a really tough time, to still focus on ministry. Not, I know myself, I stopped working for a month, just for me to really get my mind back in tune. And definitely when I went back, I still wasn't ready to go. But as a pastor, we're not assistant pastor here. How did you, was able to move during that period of time? In times like that, when life is challenging, life is lifing. How do I keep going and going strong and maintain, where God wants us to be as we are in ministry?
Uh, again, I retired. Matter of fact, it's 3 years ago yesterday. I retired from the VA. I worked there 30 years. And I often say it was the Lord that kind of told me to retire. And so, again, I'm fighting with him, right? So when he first talked to me about it, I wasn't eligible to get what I would have been when I was eligible. So I said, well, Lord, I put out the Hezekiah card, Lady Grace. I said, Lord, I said, I can't go now. I said, I left college early for you. Never went back because I know, that's not what you wanted me to do. I said, but if I go now, I'll lose this, it'll almost been like quitting, really. I said, so Lord, if you allow me to get to the years and the age, I'll go as soon as I can when I reach those numbers. And the Lord blessed me to do that. And so in that time period, from my son passed away in October. But from April to October, one of the things I started doing more of myself when it came to the Lord, I used to. There was a time I started working out, physically, and as you know, I was a workout fiend. Right, I went to the gym 7 days a week if it was just for an hour. I went on Sundays. There's a few times I got off the paper route early on Sunday morning, went to the gym for an hour before I went to Sunday school. Or if I didn't do it in the morning, I would go in between services because we used to have night service. So I would go between 3, 4 o'clock because the gym closed at 6. I would make sure I was like a fanatic. If I missed the gym, I'm looking at my body. But the Lord spoke to me once. He said, if you can give your time, if you can give an hour to the gym like that, you can dedicate an hour or two to me each morning too. And so in that period of from April to October before Trey passed, I started praying more, right? Definitely reading the Bible, reading my word more. Oh, it's such a blessing. And it was a calming in doing that. And then so when I had total right knee replacement in September of the year that was 2021. And so what I did, I had called a couple brothers to come in while I was going through my recovery to preach for me on Sunday mornings. And then the Bible class, I had a few ministers. They were taking turns. Yourself, Elder Carter at the time, Minister Gandy at the time, and then I was going too. I think I stayed out of church after knee replacement surgery, attending maybe 2 Sundays.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Right, but then then after that I was there. I wasn't ministering really, but I think that was only maybe like another 2.
Mm-hmm.
So I never really, I would say I never really took time off per se, from doing what I had been doing. And I had a revival that November. That November, the funeral was actually the first weekend. The ending of October, first weekend of November,
Mm-hmm.
and 2 weeks later, I was going to revival in Kenosha. And so just pressing, but I felt, I never imagined in my life the power of prayer. Praying on my own, but then feeling the lifting of the other prayer. The saints of the prayer. I don't know if it was Albany saints or whoever, but there was somebody somewhere praying for me, praying for us, and I felt the lifting of, so my sadness and the pain that I felt was lifted because I felt the prayer plus the pressing forward in ministry. And it's been a blessing.
Yeah, I felt it too. I definitely felt it too. And so, that was the breakthrough. That's why I tell people the importance of, having a spirit and that kind of like Aunt Curly said, when Aunt Curly, by
send up your timbers.
Seeding in, people take seed of money, but seeding into prayer, seeding into praise, seeding into worship. So when you need to draw from it, you have it there. If you don't put anything in it, then when times get tough, you have nothing to pull out.
Yeah.
You have nothing to pull out. Okay. So tell me, during this ministry, during the pastorship, could you, maybe you don't have to go in detail, something that challenged you that was really hard, and how did you work out the situation? Maybe, whatever it had occurred, and how did you deal with that difficult situation to, rectify it?
Lady Grace, I think if if any pastor had to go through some of the things I was hit with in the first 5 to 10 years of pastoring, I think they would have gave up. I mean, I'm talking some big, heavy blows, right? Family issues with, folks with loved ones passing, uh, uh, ministers in the church, doing things that ministers shouldn't be doing per se, uh, uh, personal attacks, a little bit of everything, right? You dealing with your children, your even your nieces and nephews, they're growing and not maybe stand in line with what they were taught, losing other key people in your ministry. My father passed away uh, a year or so before my son, and he was a major player. Once he came back to church, he was the church business manager. Bishop relied on him heavily before Bishop passed away, and so I never really got to work with my dad in that capacity. And I know he would he was always pulling for me prior to that, but I never really got to work to him because in his demise,
right,
in that time period. So dealing with all that, definitely the hand of the Lord on my life for sure. And like I said, all these blows are coming at you, right? People and their issues, and Lord have mercy. I never realized, Lady Grace, that people really have things going on. And and what I'm still learning, and I definitely need the Lord to help me in it, is that there's some things that's not really a pastor's problem. But we get sucked in because people look to the pastor a lot of times for everything. And so just being prayerful as the Lord, how far should I go? Right. And where's the cutoff where I can say, well, no, that's not really my issue. Right. But what I would at least try to do is to try to get them the help that they need.
Right.
And so I'm learning how to do that.
Right. So what do you think a pastor's responsibility is?
Number one, to prepare them spiritually for the coming of the Lord. First and foremost, because you're responsible for their soul. The soul needs the word. So pastor has to continue to get in this word and be well versed in the word to help the people in their spiritual growth.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm, mm-hmm. So with that, changing a little mode here, here, let's say about how do you feel? How sometimes this the world or the church they call the PT kids. They call them PT
Oh, the
kids. And the
PK,
PT
PK.
kids have drama. I know you weren't a PT kids, but you had children in church. What was your thinking and when you were raising your kids, and how do you think you did as a father and raising the kids in the church and how they are today?
And all seriousness and truthfulness, I wasn't strict enough. I know I did well uh, in bringing them to church and talk, and we always, our children, we always told them where we stood, so they cannot say they did not know. Uh, uh, I'm a strong advocate, number one, of Sunday school, which is vital to anybody, the children as well as the adults. Uh, if it's one place they went to Sunday school. From the time they could walk and sit in a classroom, they were there. Even now, I have my oldest daughter is back home with her. I knock on her door Sunday morning. Sunday school, Sunday school. Now, whether she makes it or not is on her, but I still knock on the door because to me, that's your growth. That's your meal. That's vital. There's certain meals of the day they say that's vital for you.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Sunday school is a meal that's vital for your spiritual growth, and it should never cease at any age. And I
Okay.
hold to that. So my children, uh, I told my daughters, they'll tell you. I to tease them all the time. I go, if a young man uh, wants to talk to you, two things you do. I stole from Ella Finger. He said, check their shoes. He said, if their shoes don't have any creases in them, they haven't been praying. And I told them to check and see if they go to Sunday school, because if they don't go to Sunday school, then they can't have you. And so
Everybody, a lot of people would be exempt at this point.
a whole lot of people would be exempt. And
Amen.
that's the point.
Amen.
That's the
Amen.
point.
Yeah.
Because that's kind of setting a level on precedent, right? You got to at least be doing this first.
And I mean, I'm laughing, but okay, because then now, my next step, my next question is, you've been married for 35 years, So,
Right.
what do you think the success, if it's a success, maybe you don't think it's success, don't put any words in your mouth. What have been your success or success? Do you feel your success in being married 35 years?
One is I understood family, right? And the working together for a strong family, right? Uh, and so I wanted to be a father that was there for everyone. My wife, my children. I wanted to play a part in their celebrations. Uh, Even in their, in their downtime, I still wanted to be a part of that to help them in whatever was going on in their life. So I did my best to be there for them. When it came to school, uh, I did study hall with them, right? Spelling words, math, whatever I could to help them. I tried. So I wanted to be involved, right? Whatever they were in, cheerleading, uh, concert choir, sports, right? I wanted to be there. Take them and be a part, not just drop them off, but be a part. And so, you know, I've been a big cheerleader for my family, my wife, my children. You know, you go ahead, knock yourself out, right? Even when they didn't really get the grades that they should have, I still try to push them up. You know, you can do it. You can do better. I know you can do better than that, right? I know you have it in you. You know, and our kids was in some of everything: Girl Scouts, plays, sports, cheerleading, right? Key for Kids, some of you name it. Our kids were involved, and I took them, picked them up, brought their friends, brought their cousins. And so I don't want to be an absentee dad. I wanted to be an involved dad. In my family, my wife too, right? Pick her up. I used to, when we had one vehicle, I picked her up from school. I dropped her off in the evening, picked her up 9 o'clock, 9:30, right? Sometimes I had the kids in the car. Sometimes I say, I'll be right back. I'm going to get mommy. Y'all don't tear nothing out, you know. Oh, I done told our seat out. But yeah, so I want to be an integral partner. And I want them to be wondering when is daddy coming home tonight, mommy? Where daddy at? You're probably sometimes too consistent, but I tried you know, that was a driving force for me to be there for my family.
Okay. But what about wife relationship, you know, and marriage, we understand, and everybody's, we have a lot of friends that got married, and some of them are not together now, and the divorce, you know, before us, after us. And, you know, I get this question, you know, just last.
Well, Grace, here's the thing is, I don't know. I don't compare myself to others. Never did, never will, because I don't know how they live. Right? No idea. I don't know what they like together. You know, and so you know, we had neutral things that we like and we did together, right? I mean, we have fun. You know, sometimes we acted like big kids, you know, early on, you know, we played bicycle, we played bed football. uh, and then some of those things, as the kids got older, they joined in doing it with us, you know, and and so the little things like that though draws a family together. Right? Our children love to get in the bed with us, right? Get in the bed with you, watching your movies and watching Disney, and everybody come in our room, right? I come up, sometimes I would come upstairs and come in the room, and I would leave because everybody was in there. And so just there was never really drama. I mean, you know, we had our arguments or whatever, and you know, stubbornness maybe a day or two, but there was always peace and laughter, which had to play a role, because number one, if in order to love someone, I guess you gotta like them first.
Yeah. So
right?
there was never, hold on, let me get this clear. There was never a time that you wanted to walk out and say, I quit.
Well, but not because of any hatred. Maybe there was time I wanted to walk out quick because I was just tired of all the responsibility, right? But where are you gonna go? And because you leave, that doesn't take away the responsibility. And so and also I love the Lord and the principles of his word. So I wanted to be that type of father and man and husband that the word speaks of, right? Love your wife as Christ loved the church. So willing to give your life and sacrifice. Marriage is a sacrifice. And so if you're not willing to sacrifice, it's not gonna work. And so a lot of people get to the point where they just don't want to sacrifice no more, because you can't be selfish in this either.
Right,
Right.
right.
If you get to the, it's a give and take, and sometimes you may have to give more than the other, but it's all right. Because if you get self-centered, oh, I'm doing more, and oh, they don't do nothing, it's not. Life is too short for that.
Yeah.
And then one thing that kicks me forward, and this is beneficial to who's ever watching and listening tonight, if they're in my circle. After my son passed, I said to myself, I'm going to love on everybody that's in my inner circle more and more heartfelt than ever before, because life is short and we have no idea when it's going to end.
Yeah. I kind of felt the same way.
And so that's my, if it's little things that I do, for you, I'll give you little things, a little Pandora charms, or jewelry or something, only because I can go out of here tomorrow, right? And so I want you to be able, when you think of Herman, I want you to smile, not frown. And so I've always tried my best to spoil you if I could. I wish I had more money. I probably wouldn't have any money if I had more money, but
because I would suck it all up.
But it would be in the efforts of helping others, and especially now, like I said, anybody in my circle, I'm going to love on them any way that I can, because life is short. And I know people, sadly enough, I understand the fact people need somebody that's really concerned about them.
Yeah, they do. So 3 words to describe yourself. 3 words to describe yourself.
3 words to describe myself?
Those 3 words. Mm-hmm.
Well, I never really thought about this. I would say kind, compassionate, and a little crazy sometimes.
A little crazy sometimes. Okay. If you had to go back and talk to your 16-year-old self, your younger self, what would you say?
I would say, number 1, fulfill your dreams. Right. 2, live for yourself. Don't try to please others, but live for yourself and do that which is right to do. Don't get into things that are wrong to do, but do that which is right to do. Enjoy your life while you can. Right. And then if you're thinking of a relationship down the road, set yourself up for it. Set yourself up for it. And I'll tell any young person, back then and even now, when you start a job, especially if you get a job in civil service or government, or even around here, hospital, whatever, take $10 to $20 out, put it in your retirement, just $10 to $20, maybe 50 even, right? And do that, because most places match that. So that's $100 a pay period for however many years, right? Because time will go by quickly.
Yeah, you're right.
I mean, Lord have mercy. I remember the day I walked into the VA, and I remember the day I walked out.
Yeah, it goes by fast.
The rest was like that.
Yeah.
But I was so centered on needing money now.
Yeah, because we had a family and stuff. You wasn't thinking, thinking
but
about the future.
Still, that $20 to $30 really wouldn't hurt.
No, you're right.
But you don't see it then.
Yeah.
So I definitely would tell my young self that then, and I'll tell young people that even now. Do it. Do it. And it make it, because if time continues, it's going to go by fast, and you'll be 21. My uncle told me, my Uncle Carl, May rest in peace. I rode home with him from Michigan State one Christmas because him, my father, my Uncle William, they were going to Camden to visit their brother, Uncle Donald. So I rode down with Uncle Carl. We were talking. And it actually is the first time I ever had one-on-one time with Uncle Carl, 8 hours. Right. So he said, hey, ain't your birthday coming up? I go, yeah, it's December the 6th. And, it was like maybe December 1st, the 2nd when we're coming back. He said, how? He said, you return 21? I said, yeah. He said, Herman, I'm going to tell you, man, it's all downhill from there. And so he just let me know. He said, time's going to fly by now. And so he was right. I mean, it has flown by. I'll be 60 years old in December.
Yeah, big 6-0, big 6-0.
Big 6-0. But I really have no regrets.
That was my next question. Do you have any regrets?
No, I really have no regrets.
So you still would marry your wife?
Yeah, I would marry her. There's some things I probably would do different, but I would marry her.
I'm teasing. Anything that you would change? I mean, just because you don't have any regrets, would you change anything?
The one thing I would change, maybe, I think if I could have had a boy and a girl first, if my first two children could have been a boy and a girl and a boy, whatever, I think I would stop right there.
Right.
Because 2 is plenty. It's a multiplication as well, because you can multiply by 1. And just maybe a little wiser with my money for sure. Again, I can't say, graduating college, whatever, because the Lord pulled me from that. So, nothing I can change by what the Lord has done.
Yeah. So, how would you like to be remembered?
How would I like to be remembered? I like to be remembered for, one, my love and kindness for people, and a true man of God that lived a life to be an example to all that he came in contact with. I'm not really one of the people that want to leave a legacy. My name great. I want my name to be written in the book and stay in the book. That's really my concern. If I can do great things, I still made a dream of mine always to have my own community center. For the community. That those type things kind of built me coming up. Girls and Boys Club, Trinity, down in Trinity, played Arbor Hill Community Center. It was the CYO back then, but now it's the Frank Chapman Institute on First Street, where kids can go and get empowered, after school, during the summer. And since retiring, the Lord is really, it's amazing, Lady Grace. I know it's getting close to time to stop, but everything that I wanted to do, I have done it in part. Right? Communications, video productions, sound media. I've done all of that through church. Right? I worked. I took over my son. Started a place called Trey House for baseball training. And so after he passed away, and at the funeral, quite a few of the young people that had attended that summer when he started with, and these children were so broke down. You talking about tearing my heart out. Just see those, and I knew some of the kids because I had worked with them a few times. I'm tearing up now. Just seeing their reaction. And so I'm standing there and I'm saying, I can't let these kids down. I gotta continue this for him. And so And I've been involved in Little League and stuff because, again, my children in the community. So giving back to my community, I always, you hear stories all the time. Old people get to now. I'm not LeBron James or Magic Johnson, money wise, but still being a part of your community in the community, right? Uh, Reverend Joy Howard, uh, she says me, she called me Bishop, right? Of course, she goes Bishop. She goes, she goes, you're really phenomenal, because she goes, how many bishops gonna take the time out to do baseball training, right? Because especially with that title per se, because they feel they too big to be, in the back of the facility outside in the dust. But that doesn't matter to me. It's the helping the children learn, right? And so, little things like that. If somebody think that's worthy of naming something after me, then that's a blessing. But I'm not gonna blow a horn. Name a street after me. That's just not me. But I enjoy spending that time and helping others.
Yeah, yeah. And I can really say that is really your personality, your character, and it's been consistent throughout the ages. Like we said, you said it kind of in the beginning. When our kids was young, you would pick up all the other kids and take them the
Take
balls
them
and take
home.
them to practice. Even
Sometimes I took them and my kids weren't even going.
exactly. Sometimes your kids be home and you would go pick them up. And little young kids used to say when their parents couldn't do it, they said, ask Uncle Herman, he'll do it.
I forget who it was. I think it was one of the Taylor kids one time or something. The dad had to work.
Yeah.
They need to go somewhere, and they asked him. I said, "Well, can Uncle Herman take?" I thought that was great though, right? Because they knew Uncle Herman would.
Right, right.
My goddaughter now, Johanna will text me, right? If she got something going on after school, and if she gets out in between the late bus, and she don't want to wait for the late bus, Johanna will text me, "Can I come get her?" Like driving out there. But I'm available now, so I go get her. No problem. But I just love the mindset, right?
Yeah.
Let me check. And I go, well, did you tell your mother?
Yeah. And you love it. You love it.
Don't be putting me in between. Let your mother know.
Jackie says, yeah, you did college tours with your nieces too.
I did college tour with my nieces. Yes. Matter of fact, I went to my niece's. She played basketball for AIC. I went to more of her home games than her parents. A couple of times I called and asked, like, her mom, "You want to go in?" She go, "Oh no, I'm not going." Or or she had her dad does card shows.
Mm-hmm.
So I would go. A couple of times I took Deja with me. There was a few little snowstorms there, but I went because I always played a part in that for them. I was their coach. School 19, me and Mr. Gorman. When they first started. And so, like I said, we always played a role. In fact, today, one of the kids that played Little League back in 2005, 2006, he came by, he went upstairs and found the old, matter of fact, I'm going up there Monday probably and look through. He had the yearbooks. And he comes down and goes, "Mr. Thomas, look at this." Right? Oh, and so we were in the yearbook. They, the team they were on with me and stuff. So, it's been an integral part of what I do. So if I can help people in any way, I pray that I can be a blessing in doing so.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And I'm a witness. I just want to say I'm a witness. His personality really has been consistent down through time. It's just that, sometimes, and I'm not saying, our marriage was perfect, but sometimes, people look and say, oh, everything can't be great and grandy. But like I told Evangelist Flossie the other day, I married my friend. You didn't change to another individual after we got married. We still was friends. And I think that was a great foundation. And then that both of us loved and feared God was also a great foundation. And I
And
guess
you have to be able to celebrate each other too. You can't let it become a competition.
right.
Right? Oh, I do this, and you can't let that can't you
Yeah.
can't let that. You have to celebrate each other
Yeah.
in what you're doing too.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And that we always did. We always shared and we always supported each other. And so I love and appreciate you.
I will love you too. Glad to be on. Sorry I missed all the other ladies. Hey, ladies, wherever you are, God
Well, you
bless
got
you.
Larita here. Larita, Sister Sheila, Sister Odessa, Sister Audrey saying hello. Jacqueline came on. Even your mother came on and gave some information about your responses and things like that. We got Sister Carter on today. Amen. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you for Crystal Devon was on also. These are the ones that I can see. Naturally, Sister Field on also. But thank you, thank you, thank you for joining us today. I hope you enjoyed the interview. I enjoyed the interview finally after 2 years.
No, it's been more than 2 years.
It's more than 2 years.
Yeah, you've been on more than 2 years.
Okay, I don't keep
I
up.
was on a Valentine's one time.
Yes, yes, yes.
And I think that's it.
Yeah, 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 maybe. Okay. Well, you're here now, dear. You're here now.
Yeah, I'm glad to be on. Finally made it. I guess I've arrived now. I've been on Soul Sister.
You made it. You made it. Thank you.
I can mark that off as another accomplishment.
Okay, thank you. Another check. Okay,
I
another
can put
check.
that in my bio now, right?
Sister Tanisha says hello too. So thank
Right.
you, thank you, thank you,
God
thank you.
bless
We
you all.
appreciate you. We appreciate everyone that watched, those that will watch later on. Your mother say, love you, Bishop Thomas. Jackie says 2 thumbs up. We love you. Appreciate you. Everyone be blessed on tomorrow in your praise and worship. Get your praise
Amen.
on.
Amen. Be
God is
blessed.
good and He's
Thanks for having me
worthy.
tonight, dear. Thanks for having me tonight.
Have a good night.
All right.